ladies and gentlemen, to another wonderful and amazing episode 131 of the Step Out, Step In podcast, live on YouTube and Facebook. And this is the first day of the 12th month of the year, the last month of the year, the first day, the first Monday in December. And I believe that this is the podcast where we challenge you to step out of old patterns and step into a life of purpose and a life of clarity and growth. I want you to do me a big favor if you can share the link with at least one person. Tell one person to tell another person that we're live on YouTube and Facebook. Because we're all in this together. If you can quickly do this, let me also share mine as you share yours. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. And again, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube page, please do so. And don't forget to click on the notification bell, and so that anytime we post something, you will be notified. And comment, nice comments. And let's get into this together. Stay tuned. Every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, join me as we dive headfirst into thrilling stories of personal growth, daring adventures, and transformative experiences. Get ready to be motivated, inspired, and empowered to live your life to the fullest. So mark your calendar, set your alarm, and get ready to step out, step in with me every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss out on the adventure of a lifetime. Subscribe now, and let's step into the unknown together. This is Step Out, Step In. The journey begins here. Step Out, Step In podcast, live on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe today. All right, again, thank you for tuning into episode 131. If you're just joining us, I want to welcome you to this first Sunday in the month of December. And I believe we're going to have a wonderful time together. If you haven't shared yet, please do so to share. Tell one person to tell another person that we're live on YouTube and Facebook. If you happen to watch the replay, again, let us know where you're watching from. And we will acknowledge you. And thank you for the comments you've been sending out. Thank you so much for everyone who has been part of this journey. You know, this past Thanksgiving, one of the things that I sat back and reflected on was being so grateful to everyone who has been part of this journey. I was grateful to God, number one, for giving me the opportunity to be able to do this consistently throughout the year. Yes, there were days that we had hiccups and all that, but that didn't allow us to give up. We are still pressing on, and I believe that this is blessing somebody, this is encouraging somebody, and if it's doing the same to you, don't hesitate to share with someone who needs it. All right, so today's episode 131, we are going to be talking about letting go like the trees. Letting go like the trees. You know, we have exactly 31 days from today to the end of the year. And we want to use this simple but powerful idea as a template to prepare us for the coming year. You know, I believe that 2026 is going to be a wonderful and amazing year. None of us knows what is ahead, but at least we know a God who knows what is ahead of us. That is why we have every trust and belief in Him. You know, so let me start off by asking you this question. If you have ever stood under a tree in the fall. Now, during the fall, this is how the trees look like. Watching the leaves slowly drift to the ground. Have you realized that it is so peaceful? It is so beautiful. It is so purposeful. And trees don't shed their leaves because they are dying. They don't. They shed their leaves because they are preparing to live. They are making room for the new season ahead. And maybe, just maybe, this is what you and I need in your life, my life, right now. When fall arrives, fall is before the winter. When fall arrives, trees let go of their leaves because holding on to them what actually hurts them. The cold month demands that the trees conserve energy, they redirect strength inwardly, and they prepare for new growth in the spring. Good evening, Princess. Amma. It's been a while. I trust everything is going well with you. I called you the other time. All right, we'll talk. All right. So, trees release what they can no longer survive the next season. They let go. And let me briefly tell you why the leaves change color. When they look at the trees during the fall, the leaves change color. The shorter days, or the shorter daylight and colder temperatures trigger the hormones inside the trees. And these hormones signal the trees to cut off nutrients to the leaves, forming a special seal at the base of each leaf. Oh, you were out. Okay, welcome back. I hope everything went well. All right. So trees turn yellow or orange depending on in the fall because of changes in daylight, changes in temperature, and the breakdown of the chlorophyll, that the green pigments that helps plants make food. So in other words, lower temperature, or should I say lower sunlight, cooler temperature, less food production makes the leaves shut down and color changes and leaves drop. And I believe that and life works the same way for you and I. So to step confidently into the new year, the coming year, a new season, a new direction, you have to be willing to let go of habits, mindsets, toxic relationship, unrealistic expectations, and clutter that can serve the season ahead. Just like the trees, ladies and gentlemen, you don't lose strength when you let go. Rather, you gain strength. Watch this space. All right, again, thank you for tuning in to episode 131 live on YouTube and Facebook. And again, if you're just joining us, this is episode 131. And tonight we are talking about letting go like the trees. Letting go like the trees. So, what to kick off or what to start off by trying to define what it means to let go. So let's get into that. Let's jump into that, and I'll be glad if you can get something to write on. take notes at least, because the shortest pencil or pen is better than the sharpest brain. You know, you can always reference it, go back to it, and refer to it. All right, so to let go or letting go means to release something you are holding onto. It can be emotionally, mentally, or even physically, that is no longer serving you or no longer supporting your growth or contributing to your peace and joy. If I have your permission, let me say that again, and thank you. I say to let go or letting go means to release something you're holding on to emotionally, mentally, or even physically that is no longer serving you, supporting your growth, or contributing to your peace and joy. It is something that is intentional. It is an intentional act of losing your grip. You have to be intentional about it, ladies and gentlemen. You have to be intentional about losing the grip. The past hurts, your regrets, your disappointments, your expectations, the people, the situations, old versions of yourself. And letting go doesn't mean forgetting, pretending something didn't happen, or acting like you were never affected. Instead, it means you are letting something go. So let's dive into the mechanics of letting go. Let's look at how we can go through this process in order to prepare to enter the season ahead, the new year ahead, dropping certain things and preparing for something better ahead of us. So, number one is letting go is not loss, it's preparation. Letting go is not loss, it is preparation. Now, when we look at leaves falling, when the leaves fall, the tree isn't mourning, it is preparing. When the leaves fall, the tree isn't mourning, it is preparing. I believe that in our lives, in your life, in my life, we often see letting go as losing something valuable. But sometimes what you're clinging on, what you're clinging on to is actually draining you. What you're holding on to is actually or can be very draining. Just like the leaves, if you look at this image on the screen, the leaves are dropping. This is the beginning of the fall. The trees are letting go the leaves so they can survive. But just like the leaf, just like a leaf that has completed its cycle, some things in your life has served their purpose. Maybe you're carrying old disappointments, a mindset that say that you're not enough, you don't amount to anything, or you don't have anything to offer. Maybe you're holding on to that kind of mindset. A relationship that drains you, that drains your joy and your peace. Commitments that no longer align with your calling. And I believe that every one of us has a calling. Everybody has a calling. You got to identify your calling and walk in your calling. Expectations from others that keep you small. It can be any of these. So letting go doesn't mean you failed. Letting go means you are wise enough to prepare for your next season. Number two is The tree doesn't struggle, it surrenders. The tree doesn't struggle, it surrenders. If you look at a tree, it doesn't struggle. Have you noticed that trees don't wrestle with their leaves? They don't. They don't panic or shake violently. They simply respond to seasons. As the day shortens and the air gets cooler, the temperatures drop. The tree senses the shift and lets nature do its work. Many times we fight transition that are meant to help you. Many times we all do it. We fight certain transitions that is meant to help us. We cling to what was instead of surrendering to what is becoming. We cling on to the past, to the old, instead of surrendering to what is becoming, what is ahead. But life flows better, ladies and gentlemen, when you move with the season, not against the season. Maybe God is whispering to you right now, this very moment, as you watch it live or as you watch the replay, that stop fighting the season, surrender the process. By the way, process is something that you and I cannot bypass. It is part of the journey. You have to go through it in order to get to it. You cannot bypass it. You cannot pay for it, your way through. It is something that you go through it. It is part of the journey, ladies and gentlemen. Process is part of the journey. Probably you can write it somewhere that process is part of the journey, just to remind yourself that you have to go through it in order to get to it. And if you don't surrender to the process, everything you refuse to release becomes a weight. And everything you surrender becomes a seed. Everything you surrender becomes a seed. So number one, I said, letting go is not loss, it is preparation. The tree doesn't struggle, it surrenders. Number three is letting go reveals the strength of your core, what you're made up of. Letting go reveals the strength of your core, what you're made up of. You know, when trees shed their leaves, something surprising happens. Something surprising happens. You can suddenly see branches clearly. I mean, it becomes more naked. It becomes more naked, the structure, the shape, the strength. And in full bloom, you don't always notice what the tree is really made of. But during the fall, when it shed all their leaves, and during the winter, that is how it looks like. It becomes more naked, more vulnerable. But when everything unnecessary falls away, its true form is revealed. This is exactly what letting go does in your life. It exposes your core, your character, your values, your convictions, your identity. As you prepare for the coming year, ask yourself, who am I without the things I've been hiding behind? Who am I after stripping the faking to make it to be the real me? What remains when the noise is stripped away? What strength have I forgotten I do have? You know, We all have our strengths as well as weakness, but when you focus on your strength, you build a more resilient life. So let this be the year you rediscover the strength of your core. As we journey through the remaining days till the end of the year, and as we prepare to enter the coming year, the year that is ahead. And number four is what you release becomes nutrition for your next season. What you release becomes the nutrition for your next season. You know, a beautiful thing happens when leaves fall to the ground. They break down, they enrich the soil, they feed the trees, and what else? They feed the tree for future growth. Okay, just bear with me. Let me see here. Okay, let me see if I can find this image. Just bear with me. Give me one moment. I just want to show you something real quick. Okay. Okay, here we go. Just one moment. Just bear with me. Okay, I think I got it. Just one moment. Okay, so when the leaves fall, this is how they look like. All right, here we go. And this is what enriches the soil. This is what fertilizes the soil. It gives nutrients to the tree for future growth. That means that it is not wasted, but it helps the tree. In other words, what a tree releases today becomes nourishment for tomorrow. And the same is true for you and I. Every lesson you learn from that difficult season is going to help you as you journey through. Every mistake you grew from will help you. Every disappointment that nurtured you is going to help you. Every closed door that redirected you. You see, ladies and gentlemen, your past doesn't disappear, it transforms. You cannot erase your past, but it can transform you. It can make you better. It becomes a wisdom for you. It becomes strength for you. It becomes a fuel that propels you to move forward and to move ahead, not giving up in your present situation, because you know that what you went through in the past is propelling you for something that is ahead, something better, something bigger, and something beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. So when you let go of today, it becomes a foundation for who you will be tomorrow. Number five, the last but not the least, letting go makes room for new growth. Letting go makes room for new growth. You know, when spring comes, trees bloom again. Fresh leaves, new colors, strong branches. But none of that growth is possible without fall. The shedding is necessary for the newness. Or you can tweet that. That the shedding is necessary for the newness. If you tweet, probably people wouldn't understand. But redirect them to come listen to this, to watch this episode 131, and they will get it. In the same way, you cannot enter a new year carrying the last year's clutter. Growth requires space, ladies and gentlemen. Peace requires space. Purpose requires space. So today, I want you to imagine your life as a tree. What needs to fall? Ask yourself that in the fall, as you get into the winter season, what needs to fall as you prepare to enter into the new year? What needs to fall? What are you not carrying into your next season? What must be released now so that new things can grow later as you journey along into your next season? Letting go is not the end, ladies and gentlemen. It is the invitation for new beginnings. It is that invitation for new beginnings. Now, I want us to do a little bit of practical application here. Let's do this practical application. Okay, so let's see here. And just before we get into it, watch the space.
Step Out, Step In podcast. Live on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe today.
Step out, step into the world unknown. Leave your fears.
Again, thank you for tuning into episode 131 live on YouTube and Facebook. So now we get into that practical application, your personal leaf drop. That is a practical application, your personal leaf drop. Very simple. Here's a simple exercise you and I can do right now or after this episode. This is what we can do. What you have to do is grab, can you see? Okay, so you grab a piece of paper, all right? You grab a piece of paper, and what you're going to do is you're going to draw a tree. Let me see if I can draw my tree. I'm not a very good artist, but at least I have an idea of what a tree is. Okay, so here we go. Here we have the branches. Okay, so here we go. All right, so this is my tree. I just at least I've been able to draw something. All right, okay, so after drawing your tree, you draw the branches, and on each branch write something you need to release this year. We have 31 days to the end of the year. God has taken us through from January through every day, every week, through all the months, crosses over day after day, week after week, month after month, into the last month of the year. We're going to have 31 days from today to the end of the year. So write what you need to drop. Is it your fear? Is it a habit that needs to be changed? Is it a toxic relationship? Is it a limited belief? Sometimes we do have this limited beliefs about ourselves. That, I don't have what it takes to do what I have to do. Maybe somebody told you you don't amount to anything, and you have accepted that lie. and you are clinging onto it, you have to let go. Maybe you see yourself as, oh, I'm not all that is. Look, God made you unique, beautiful, handsome, beautiful. You know, you are one of a kind amongst the billions of people in this world. Nobody looks like you. God saw you and made you so wonderful and so unique, so amazing. You know, whatever it is, you still fulfill scripture because we are beautifully and wonderfully made by God. You don't have to accept the lies from other people. Stand in the mirror every single day and look at yourself and say, what a wow me. You have to let go of those limited beliefs. Maybe a bad commitment, or maybe a disappointment that you are still holding on to. If you've ever read the book, The Great Expectations, Miss Havisham held on to that disappointment for the rest of her life. You don't want to hold on to anything like that. You have to let go. So on the branches, just draw those leaves and just label them that these leaves will have to drop. If it has to be disappointment, you just write disappointment, you know. Okay. You say, I just wrote something. Yeah, just let it drop. And make up your mind that I'm not carrying this to the coming year. I have to travel light. And by the way, let me tee you on this. Next week, God willing, that is what I'm going to talk about, either traveling light or how to land safely. Travel light, yes. Because anytime you travel with excess baggage, it costs you more. So next week we'll talk about that. Then beneath your tree, after you've drawn and you've had everything on, right beneath it, I release this so I can grow. It is a confession you're making. Confessions are powerful. I release this so I can grow. You don't want anything to restrict your growth, to stunt your growth. And after you're done, this is what I learned other people do it. They rip the paper or they tear it apart and as a sign of release. So they write all these things and they rip it as a sign of release, that I am not traveling into my next season with either fear, a bad habit, a toxic relationship, a limited belief, a bad commitment, or disappointment. I'm not entering the next season with this. And they release themselves from this. I believe you can do that. It may seem simple, ladies and gentlemen, but symbolic actions activate real change. Symbolic actions activate real change. All right. So again, thank you for tuning into episode 131. Live with somebody today. Either you're live or watching the replay. And I want you to know that God uses every season. Just like God designed a season of nature, He designed a season of your life. He knows when you need to let go, when you need to rest, when you need to rise again. God knows it. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3, as a person of faith, every now and then I want to throw in a scripture from the gospel or from the Bible. Let me put it that way. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1, it says, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven." Ladies and gentlemen, seasons come and seasons go. The only thing permanent under the sun is the word of God. Everything else changes. Everything else is temporary. To everything, there's a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Fall is not the end, it is preparation for the promise. And I believe that you're entering a new season and God is already ahead of you. So, as you prepare for the year ahead, 31 days from today, I want you to do one thing today. I want you to do one thing today. Choose one leaf, one thing you release before the week ends. It's something that you and I will have to be intentional about it. We have to purposely work on it and work at it. Just one. Take the first step. Then after doing that, share this episode with someone who needs a gentle reminder, just a gentle reminder that letting go is not losing, it's growing. If this message has blessed you and you haven't subscribed yet, I want to encourage you to subscribe, leave a review, a comment, and stay connected so you never miss an episode of Step Out, Step In podcast. Because every season is an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to step out of what is holding you back, to step into who you are called to be. And again, wishing you a happy new month. And I pray that the finisher's grace will enable you to finish this year well. And not only finish this year well, but you will finish in style and you will finish well. Until same time next week, have a wonderful, amazing, fruitful, productive week. And all that I have to say is I love you. There's nothing you can do. And thank you for patronizing, for supporting, and for encouraging as well. Goodbye.
Step out, step into the world unknown. Leave your fears behind, watch how you've grown. Challenge yourself, break free, and begin to find the purpose within. Step out, step in, out of your comfort zone. Step into the light where you're